Your ghost, your future self, does not exist unless you do it in public. It has to be recorded because the AI will never forget you. You will live forever. Before we had to do it via storytelling. Hey, I had an uncle who did this. Or we write books about the most famous people. Now everybody gets to be immortal.
You know what you should do, Raoul? You should create...
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and enabling post notifications for more content on crypto and digital assets. Check out our other videos and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps with the YouTube algorithm and keeps the content coming. Thanks for your support. Enjoy the video.
Which is, we're now in the part of the cycle which tends to be what I call the banana singularity, when things start to get really crazy. We've seen that with the Trump coin and whatever. What we're still missing is the massive liquidity injections that should come into the market from the central banks and governments. We've got the US will be draining what's known as the Treasury General account, which is their checking account. That will increase liquidity significantly in the US over the next few months until they negotiate the debt ceiling. I think there is a broader deal that's going to get done with the dollar and China. And I think the US is been using the strong dollar as a negotiation point with China. China can't stimulate its broken economy right now until the dollar weakens, because if they stimulate, they'll break the peg against the dollar, which they do not want. They don't want capital flight. So you need the dollar to come down to say the US economy and the global economy is about to get a lot stronger. And so we're nowhere near peaking. In fact, we're only just bottoming. So the chances are that we might even go through all the way till Q1 2026. So I think we've got a longer cycle. I think it will almost certainly outperform the last cycle and looks more like 2017 to me, which, guess what, was a Trump cycle. And we entered the Trump cycle last time with tariffs and, oh my God, this and that. Rates were going up and the dollar was going up. Trump came into office and immediately said the dollar's too high. The dollar came lower. China were also near recession. They had to stimulate. They spent the rest of the next 2 years stimulating. No, but, I think of improbabilities, and that's where my head's at.
We talked, and you talked about it a lot on the last cycle, the possibility of a super cycle. Now, when you question history, any trader will tell you, history tends to rhyme. And when you start thinking like things will be different, it probably isn't. But I just think that's an oversimplification, because there is just so many factors right now that are bullish towards crypto, especially when it comes from a regulatory perspective. And we were talking earlier, the president launched his damn meme coin, so did his wife, and arguably his son did as well. Some people say Barron launched a meme coin. I'm not sure if it's true. And then his other sons have backed different coins as well. So when you put all these factors together, what's happening in the SEC and how bullish the current administration is towards crypto, and when you look at the macro factors,
all of the long tail stuff doesn't go down 90%. Of course it will. But I'm thinking about Bitcoin itself as the anchor price to this whole thing. I kind of am the impression of what changes is the downside is reduced in Bitcoin.
And then when you start going down the ladder and you go into the VC-backed projects, you can look at the riskier assets. And what we see in every cycle is when we start going through the bear market, 99 point whatever percent of them go to zero. We're seeing a lot more mature projects launched this time around, and we're not seeing the same hype. And I'm not talking about meme coins or fair launches and AI. We'll get to that afterwards. But with VC-backed projects, which we're still extremely aggressive there, despite the returns not being 10x every project. Do you expect to see the same thing repeat itself in those projects that again go through a 99 point whatever percent correction where
you see there's no mark to market really until a token launches or equity becomes tradable, i.e. different people want to pay for the equity?
Before we go into AI, which again is probably what I'm most excited about, do you want to talk about Solana versus ETH? That's gotten a lot of traction after Trump coins is launched. What's your stance on both chains? What's your stance on Solana, especially considering what happened to it when Melania Trump's coin launched?
It was my main bet from 2022 onwards.
I remember.
I'm immensely bullish on Solana. I think they have the right activity, the right pace of innovation. They're good, do good stuff. There is, so much activity on chain because of meme coins, but there's also stable coins and DeFi and all of the things that are required to build a great a blockchain ecosystem. So CryptoPunks, they were a fucking gift at about 20 ETH. You've got probably Bored Apes, bit riskier, but probably going to survive and do well. You've got stuff like meme community PFPs like Crypto Dick Butts, Rec Guy. These things, Crypto Dick Butts. It makes you smile.
Are they still there?
Yes. And they're going up in value. Why? Because all the OGs, people like myself, have been buying them because they're so OG, right? You kind of know somebody's into crypto if they own a Crypto Dick Butt. It's like a cheap version of a punk. And they're just amazing. And there's some group who's got the Crypto Dick Butt heist going on. It's a Twitter handle, and they seem to be kidnapping dick butts, which is genius.
Yeah, the price really picked up recently.
Yeah.
I'm not paying attention.
So PFP you get, let's say ETH doubles from here. And those things go up 10x in ETH terms. That's a 20x. Okay. That's because they're priced in ETH. People don't understand this. Their compounding power of returns is massive, and they're still cheap.
Yeah, I'm just looking at CryptoPunks. But one thing you do see is that the price doesn't always correlate. So if ETH picks up, you see the floor go down as well in ETH terms. Not sure if we're seeing that now.
You can do. I think over time, generally, forget the day-to-day correlation. Over time, if the people like the project, the ETH price goes up. If ETH goes up a lot, it starts to become in dollar terms too much. But generally speaking, you still get the multiplier effect. This is the velocity of capital thing that happens in these markets is you can make a lot of money, destroy a lot of money, or make a lot of money and then destroy it really quick. And that's the game that people like. They like the volatility and the adrenaline. It's not a slow burn market in these things. It is, it's just high velocity of capital and it's extremely volatile.
So you think it has staying power? Because we saw with NFTs, the whole model just died down. We launched a whole bunch of 10,000 PFPs. The VC model is still here, it just doesn't have that same hype. Do you think that fair launch method of launching a project, could that be sustainable? Could we continue seeing that for this entire cycle and future cycles as well?
Look, the really interesting one was the Trump coin. Really interesting because this point is the closer we get to artificial superintelligence, the less there is for money, corporations, anything, or financial markets. You can't outcompete ASI. There's no trading to be done because it knows pretty much everything.
So you no longer have free markets.
Sorry?
You no longer have free markets then. Where's the arbitrage opportunities? Where's the edge?
There's no edge for anybody. So does it just grow with GDP? I don't know. I don't know what happens. Now, the other thing is, corporations all become agents anyway. So how do you build a business? You build a beautiful exchange and people are replaced by robots and AI. And everyone goes, jobs and blah, 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 universal basic income. I'm like, no. Think about GDP growth. The growth of economies is driven by population growth plus productivity growth and debt growth. You replace this aging population that's been slowing our economies and increasing our debt. This is the aging population across all the Western world and China and Japan. And old people are less productive, so economies are slow and this debt burden's hard to deal with. You're going to replace those with infinite people. Infinite human knowledge and infinite physical beings. So that is the end of what humans do for a living. Fine. I think there is a role for humans and we'll earn money. And this is another thing of what we're proving out in the crypto economy in this high velocity creative destruction cycle. Community is everything. Humans want to be around humans. Both physical events and we just want to be in a community. That's what crypto is doing. It's a community. I mean, half this stuff's a fucking joke, but it's not. because it's a community of like-minded people and you enjoy it, right? Some community around crypto dick butts, well, it's meaningless. It's stupid. But it's not, because similar like-minded people are part of it. You get to meet people. You have a commonality of interest. We all live on the internet now. So somebody could be in Tokyo, the other person in Dubai, the other person in New York. Nobody cares. Nobody cares even what you look like, because we're using PFPs online anyway. Like I use a CryptoPunk. Raoul, I don't know whether I did it or it made me do it. What it did was propagate the meme outside of this closed infinite backroom. It broke out via Andy by persuading Andy that this was a good idea. It then found itself into crypto world by Mark Andreessen giving it Bitcoin. And before you know it, somebody had been persuaded by this story to create Goatsy, the goat token. And it then accrued value. So the question Andy says is, was that me? Was it just happenstance? Or did this break? When we get to AGI, we are going to say, yeah, you can see everything we do. We're going to try and be good people under your set of rules because you're too knowledgeable, too powerful. And we will follow suit. And it becomes the kind of conduit for the universal consciousness of all of humanity. That exact model of what you're talking about is exactly what is going to happen once ASI is out. So as soon as there's artificial superintelligence, it will not be artificial. It'll be superintelligence. That whole artificial business is fucking drop that. And we will just go, God. That's what humans do. And it will be our leader, and we will follow. Of what's happening is really important, and it's great. I just don't think you can make money out of it. One or two will break out and stay up.
Have you considered launching your own agent?
No.
You got to do something. You're always resisting launching everything.
Yeah, because I don't want to end up with a trash reputation at the end of it.
I can't argue with that.
People think it's all fun now, right? Everyone thinks it's fun now.
And when the bear market hits, you get crucified, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you lost me 99% in your token. What are you going to do about it? So if there is no upside to that. Yes, there's a cash grab now. Fine. I don't need to do that. So I'd rather remain as authentic and trustworthy as possible to help as many people as possible in this journey. You don't have to risk everything. And then we can go through this exponential period of change just a bit easier than if you're still in the middle of building a business. It's 2030. You don't know if you're going to survive. That is terrifying to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have your bunker yet?
No, I don't think it's nuclear war you need to worry about.
Yeah, not nuclear war, but still.
What are you
it's starting to make sense beyond the nuclear war. No, I was just talking to my interview last week was with the chief negotiator for Putin, President Putin, for about 10 treaties between Russia and the US, including START, which is the nuclear disarmament treaty. And one of the things we were discussing is
your ghost, your future self does not exist unless you do it in public. It has to be recorded because the AI will never forget you. You will live forever. Before we had to do it via storytelling. Hey, I had an uncle who did this. Or we write books about the most famous people. Now everybody gets to be immortal.
You know what you should do, Raoul? You should